So today, guys, I wanted to actually continue the line of videos talking about what is left of a certain aircraft to be added in terms of variants. And today we're going to talk about the F-16, talk about 4 variants that we will probably see being added to the game. And then after that, 2 honorable mentions that in the far future we might see it for different nations, for different subtrees, or even as an event vehicle. So let's start off with the F-16 Block 1. Yes, the F-16 Block 1 would be the first one, the A that got added in a very early stage, and this can be added as a event vehicle or something like that. I see this thing being added. It would be a very early F-16. It would be maybe a 12.0 F-16 even, with AIM-9Ps and stuff. So it would just have the pure performance and no BVR missiles, just a very old version of the APG-66. Missiles that maybe have a aspect capability, maybe not, depending on what they want to add with it, you know, in terms of balance. So it would be an interesting aircraft to have as an event vehicle, or even added for, I don't know, maybe the Norwegians with the Swedish, right? I don't know, something like that. It would be cool to see the very first F-16 in the game, and I think at a certain point we will see it, okay? The second one is the F-16C Block 30. Why is the Block 30 so interesting? A lot of people consider this F-16 the best F-16 in a dogfight. Why? Sorry, why? Because it is basically the lightest version of the C model. It's technically the first C model, so I still believe that it would be worse than the A models, the Block 10, for example, in terms of turn and stuff. But it would be good enough that would be considered the best F-16C in terms of probably turning performance. Of course, you would have older systems, older missiles, older everything, but at the end of the day, it can be added as maybe a 13.3 version on the older late 80s, 90s even version of the F-16C, maybe without the helmet. I don't know, maybe an earlier model with older stuff, right? But in a general sense, it would be a very interesting aircraft just because it is the lightest F-16C ever to be produced. So it means that it would be the best in a dogfight, and it would still carry very modern missiles, AIM-9Ms, AIM-120s, stuff like that can still be added to the weapon loadouts of these aircraft. So it would be very interesting, right? The third one, of course, I have to talk about the Mitsubishi F-2. Technically, it is still an F-16. It is based off of some programs that they were trying to make the F-16 more agile and stuff, so it has a bigger wing. The engine is still going to be very much the same as the normal F-16, so it isn't anything too different in terms of performance. It should turn a little bit more, but losing more speed. And in a general sense, you would have one of the best radars in the game right now, with an AESA, and of course, very advanced missiles. So, of course, it would be a 14.0, 4+ generation jet. For the Japanese, finally, yes, the Japanese would receive something like that. Honestly, I believe that we will see these aircraft in the next like 2 or 3 patches max, I would say, right? It's an aircraft that needs to be added to the game. It's nothing too fancy, but it is cool enough, and it's basically necessary for the Japanese. So hopefully it gets added, right? And yeah, Mitsubishi F-2, an amazing version of the Japanese F-16, basically, right? The fourth one is the F-16C Block 52. And I want to wrap it up these 4 lists over here before we get to the honorable mentions, mentioning that the F-16C Block 52 can be a 32 or 42 as well. What I mean here is to use a different engine, okay? That's the thing. Between the Block 50 and 52, they are the same aircraft. What does it change? Well, what it changes is the actual engine itself, right? So for example, in this case, the Block 52 would literally have the F-15E engine, you know, so it is a very powerful engine. It's not a bad engine by any means. Sometimes people say that this engine is not, you know, as good as the other one with the Block 50, but like if you take a look on the thrust and everything, you will notice how much thrust these engines have. For example, at around 1,200 kilometers per hour, it would produce around 170, I think it is, kilonewtons, compared to the 164 of the GE engine of the 50, right? So in certain situations, it could produce more power than the engines that are on the Block 50, which means that it could be an even better F-16C depending on situation. And then you could actually choose between the two. You want more low airspeed power or more airspeed thrust, I mean, right? You know, in the lower range or higher range in speed, you choose. And it would be very cool to have in a folded position the F-16C Block 52 with the US there for the people to basically choose between the two, right? Like I said, it could be a 32 or 42 as well, but I think the 52 being basically the same aircraft as the 50 but with a different engine could be interesting enough for us to have it. Another way of adding this aircraft is that they probably would add it for the Israelis. The Israelis use this version as well, so it could be the next one after the Barak Block 40 that we have there, right? I don't know, but at the end of the day, it is an aircraft that it's too important in the arsenal of an F-16 to not have it added in the game. So I have a feeling that it will be added. These are it for the four ones, you know. I think these four are the ones that you should probably expect. Of course, there are going to be versions here and there. Another Block 15, another, I don't know, Block 30, another Block 50, another, I don't know, depending on subtrees, etc., right? So, of course, I'm here giving kind of a general idea of a real new aircraft, right? Technically a new version of the F-16. Two honorable mentions that I think we shall talk about is that because they are not used by the US, I don't know if they're gonna be ever added, right? And they're almost never used by anybody. You know, very little nations use this. One of them is the Block 50-52 Plus. So they never entered in service with the US, but it is an exported model that has an APG-68 V9, and it is using these more modern engines and everything to be basically one of the most modern F-16s out there, right? So some countries use it, you know, so for example, Pakistan, the Polish Air Force. So there are countries that use these aircraft, so it can be added as a sub-tree or something, but of course the US doesn't use it, so I don't know how they could add it. Like I said, event or something like that, it could be added. It would be basically the evolution of the Block 50 that we have right now, with even better helmet-mounted display, even better radar, more reliable engines and everything, right? But in a general sense, it would be an upgrade over that aircraft, right? And the other one is the F-16E, the Block 60, right? This is, it never saw service, if I'm not mistaken, but it was meant to be used by the United Arab Emirates Air Force, the UAE Air Force. So at the end of the day, they didn't choose this aircraft, but it would be cool to actually see it because they have a built-in IRST kind of FLIR system. They have a system to basically be a little bit better overall with the you know, RWR. They have an EASA radar, the APG-80. So it would be basically like the ultimate F-16. So that's why I think it should be added, but I don't know how they could be added. Maybe as an event, maybe, I don't know, because technically the US never used this thing really, you know, so I don't know exactly how they could actually add this thing, because they have a logic of adding these things with usage and stuff. But it would be the most modern F-16 ever, so it should be added, even if it, you know, technically it never saw service up to now, right? So it is a little bit more problematic. But anyway, this is it, guys. These are all like 6 aircraft, you know, but 4 of them that I really think are left to be added of the F-16. 2 of them that could be added in the future, but I don't know how they could add it. Sub-trees, events, I don't know. So yeah, let me know in the comments if I miss anything. I mean, there's so many variants, so let me know in the comments. See you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, and bye guys, see ya.